So says trainer Steffi Bull. 2020 has been the most bizarre year I've ever experienced, not just at work but also life, boxing, and other sports which are also currently undergoing testing times. It's so frustrating that we can't have crowds back, nor supply fight dates for the rest of my fighters. Many boxers will be suffering mentally, as all they want to do is compete and do something they love and get paid to do it. Lots of small hall boxers, I've no doubt, will be considering retirement due to not being able to box and earn a payment. Terri Harper has probably had the best year of her life. In February she added the WBC world title to her IBO title, then behind closed doors, she took part in the main event, and it was one of the best contests I've ever worked in that will be remembered for many years. And now coming up in November, she's scheduled to defend her titles against her undefeated mandatory challenger. We are so grateful to Matchroom Boxing for delivering these opportunities and having the exposure on Sky Sports Boxing. Throughout these challenging times, the rest of the gym lads/fighters have been so supportive of Terri and me, not one bit of jealousy/envy, because she's working. They have been solid in support, and for that, I'm proud of them, and once we are allowed crowds back, I'll deliver opportunity in abundance for them. We have one of the best female fighters on the planet in our gym, and success breeds success. 2020 has been Terri's year. I'm praying 2021 can be the year for the rest of my fighters. #OneLove #Steffi Bull Promotions. Boxing.
Sink it down there on the O. Sink it on the O. Yeah. Sink it on the O. Yeah. Up top. Sink it down.
Sink it.
Sink it on the line. Up top. Nice. That's it. It's the top.
See, that's what bothers me about this guy, is the way he punches. I think he punches with the wrong part of the hand. And I think ultimately, when he gets into a real difficult fight, that's going to be a problem. He's going to break something. I think he shouldn't be throwing hooks like that kind of slappy hook. But I suppose when you look at some people before him, such as Joe Calzaghe, they got away with it. And people who don't know better think, oh yeah, that's great boxing. And he hammers away at this bag in a minute, and we'll see. Let's carry on. Starts getting excited again in a minute. Excited again. Look, watch him. But look at the part of the hand he's using though. Utter rubbish. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is a picture of Umar Kremlev. That's how you say Umar Kremlev. Apparently tested positive for the coronavirus. Alright, and it's going to be quarantined. But he's like the Secretary General of Russia Boxing. A very powerful man. And they've just put the news out that he tested positive for corona. Alicia Napoleon does take good pictures though. What's she written here? It says, reach as high as you can. Sky's the limit. Push it to the limit. You know that lipstick of hers though? Is that a tattoo? I have a feeling it's a tattoo, that it's been tattooed on. You know what I mean? Because she always has it. Raquel Miller writes, if you run from the work, you might as well hide from the money too. Okay, well, I like the picture. Not as much as some of the other ones, but it's Raquel Miller. So Floyd Mayweather states the following. It's got all Deontay Wilder's fangirls' panties a little bit moist and wet. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, Floyd, he's reaching out to Deontay. Deontay Wilder's got bombs, but we can make his skills a lot better. I'm here to help fighters, even Wilder. Why you say even Wilder? I'm here. All he's got to do is let me know what he wants to do, and we can make it happen. Yeah, you can help him, but you can try to help him, but will you help him? Is he capable of taking the help? You know what I mean? There's certain arrogance in thinking that you're the one who's going to be able to tame somebody like this, a person who is stuck in his ways. Utter nonsense, if you ask me.
It's the worst mistake he's ever made, because Mark Breland's the only person in his team that's actually was a boxer and actually was a world champion, it was the only person that didn't care about money and fame. Someone who actually was acting from an emotional point. Someone who understands what I feel like someone was thinking about his health and did the right thing, in my opinion, from the toweling, because he could have got seriously hurt. He was getting hit with punches that wasn't knocking him out, that was concussing him. But anyway, Mark Breland knows what it's like, because Mark Breland's been in the same position Wilder was in. You know, he'd been in the same position, so he knows he's someone that cares about the athlete and the boxing side of things, not just bomb squad nonsense. You don't care about that. You see, he's the only one in the team. You don't see him running around and shouting and screaming. He's just a little quiet guy, does his job. He's the only person that really cares about Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is an idiot. He clearly can't see that. So
let's watch this bipolar prick.
Didn't have any belts. Is it still not the biggest fight in world boxing?
Of course.
So what?
That's the problem I have with Kugan Cassius. Kugan Cassius could have some pushback there. What do you mean, of course? It's not. If Anthony Joshua didn't have those belts, let me be honest with you, this prick here would dismiss Anthony Joshua as nothing. You don't have the belt, I can't talk to you, you're not a champion. That's what he would say. And somebody like Kugan Cassius should say, well, you know, you don't have to be aggressive when you say it, but wait. Listen, let's keep it real here. If you didn't have the belt, why did you fight Deontay Wilder? Why were you claiming that you were the lineal champion then, if these titles don't mean anything? You see, this is the problem I have with these type of people. Those things only mean something when they have them. He doesn't want the other guy to be undisputed champion because ultimately it's going to overshadow this fucking legacy he supposedly had, which is based upon the fact that he beat some fucking prick in the United States who didn't train properly, who was enamored, who was carried away with his own power, and he beat him up. And it just occurred to me recently, right, that, you know, regardless of what we think of Sugar Hill, I think he knew the moment he got up and he still was able to actually nearly knock Deontay Wilder out. If you look from that moment on, that was just a continuation. From that moment, from the 12th round, was a continuation of what happened to Deontay Wilder throughout the fight. I think that's when it clicked that, okay, wait, this guy doesn't like pressure being put on him. Because if you see Deontay Wilder in the second fight, his mannerism and his behavior, the way he was holding his hands up, please don't hit me sort of way, was what happened after this guy got up in the 12th round. And that's when he probably noticed. And I probably can't believe him when he says, like, okay, you know what, all I needed was somebody to actually guide me in the right way to do it. But I decided firsthand that this guy doesn't like being beaten up. But let's listen a little bit more to this prick.
What does a belt really mean?
The belts are probably the icing on the cake.
It's not fucking probably icing on the cake. It is the cake. Kugan Cassius is full of shit.
Icing on the cake, of course. Great. Right. Fantastic. But it wouldn't stop me from having the Anthony Joshua fight.
So you say right now, but you're a liar.
Because the belts don't say it or whatever. But to them, Eddie keeps saying it does.
Stop blaming Eddie. You're unreliable. You put out news recently saying that for anybody to whom it may be concerned, how they say it, to whom it may concern, you're fighting Deontay Wilder. Now, Deontay Wilder might not necessarily happen suddenly. Oh yeah, well, you need to drop the belts and fight me. Fuck you. The world's got to revolve around these people.
So I'm not really too sure where they're coming from. I'm not sure if they can get more money through fighting somebody else.
So it's about money now, huh? They can get money fighting whoever the fuck they want to fight. And honestly, they should... this guy don't turn Canelo on us.
Hell no, they can't. And I'm not too sure if they can get... If they take 2 or 3 people more, they won't still make the same money as fighting me.
You can't even fight in the UK. You don't even have a license. You don't even have a license to fight in the UK. So why shouldn't you even sort out your license first before you start talking about getting a fight?
So it is what it is. The only reason why you won't want this fight is that you're not 100% confident in winning, which nobody ever could be. But you obviously don't fancy it. So it is what it is. Didn't have a...
This guy...
It's with fans. Excited because I wanted to fight with fans, so I'm happy. Are you happy? Yeah.
Since COVID has happened, that was something that you continually expressed, is that how much it would mean to you. You said you would go through it with it, of course, if it had to be done, like no fans. But I know that was something that meant a lot to you, because you always say, I do this for the fans.
Yes.
So Gervonta Davis posts this poster. This is the one I'm guessing he prefers. This is the one he prefers. Now, there's a story behind it, because you could just see it as another artistic post, not necessarily the official poster, put together by somebody he probably knows, Something Designs, Davis versus Santa Cruz. But there's a story behind it, you see, because the official poster is not to his liking, and he took to Twitter to complain about it. And some people have actually photoshopped it to actually make it even worse than what it looks. It is what it is, to make him look fatter and all this kind of stuff. Honestly, I didn't notice until people started pointing it out. I didn't think it was a big deal, so yeah. But I think some people pointed out, and they probably pointed it to him that it doesn't look good, they look old or something like that. And he complained, saying, change my fucking poster or whatever, you know. Had a little hissy fit online, and people were like, you know the trolls would go one extra step. You open yourself up like that. So what he's done, I guess, is to put his own poster together for his fans. And it says, tickets for my Showtime pay-per-view fight on October 31st at the Alamodrome in San Antonio, Texas are on sale now. Get there now before they sell out. Okay. So Oscar de la Hoya posts this picture of him in his office. It says, fucker in charge of you fucking fucks. I suppose he's trying to be funny, facetious, or honest. Take your pick. Nonetheless, I've started an amazing journey of clean eating and physical training. It's good to be back in the chair. A new me. That's what you said the last time. So Igor Klimer's been talking real greasy on ESPN ringside. What's his state? He says, Lomachenko's manager, Igor Klimer, says he's never shown 100% of his capabilities in the ring. Can Teofimo Lopez be the one to push him there? Well, I think he's already been pushed there, hasn't he, by Solido? Alright, so when you say he hasn't showed 100% of his capabilities in the ring, I think Solido took him there, regardless of how you see the fighting style of Solido against him. You know what I mean? Whether it was the low blows, whether it was the rough tactics. I'm guessing that brought 100% out of Lomachenko, and he came up short. So what is Igor Klimer's talking about? Well, let's watch.
But I don't think we ever saw an opponent who pushed him to be 100% what he's capable to do in the ring. If Teofimo can push Loma to be at his 80% what he's capable to do, he can tell he already won. I don't think Teofimo is capable to put Loma 100% capability what he can do in the ring. I think for Teofimo, he will learn his lessons. He will step in and he will find out where he is and where he belongs. Teofimo doesn't even imagine where he's walking to, what kind of a fight he's walking into. But
I think if they're looking for a character to play Dracula next time, a modern take on Dracula, they really should look at Igor Klimer. He does have that sort of Transylvanian evil Dracula, I suck your blood way about him, doesn't he? It's scary, actually.
We need to train eye and eye muscles. Eye movements can influence on the fatigue. Fatigue, it's a mental. It's not muscle, it's mental.
For Loma, mentally is very strong. You have to be mentally strong to do that stuff, to get you stronger.
We can compare results from camp to camp, from preparation to preparation, and he become faster ever before.
Let's go to the next.
And we changed our training because then it was a featherweight. We train only for speed reaction, and after then I go up another weight classes. Of course, we add.
I tried this training before. I think Anthony Joshua actually talked about how this influenced him to engage some mental training. I've done it once or twice. It's unpleasant, to be honest with you. It takes quite a while before you go. But what's it for? Mental strength, basically. Willpower.
Physical training, we add weights and power, of course. It's harder, of course, it's harder show my skill, because if you boxing with your size, it's more easily. But then you fighting with guys who bigger than you, and they are top fighters. It's not easy, and you always need be focused.
In boxing, while supreme confidence can be a gift,
ain't no me.
Talk only goes so far.
Easy, man.
And inside the ring, years of sweat equity can vanish in an instant.
There you go, beautiful. I like that.
On October 17th,
Come on, baby.
nothing will matter except the result.
Yeah, this is personal. I think that for sure it is. I just think that he's a conniving son of a bitch. In order to get respected, you gotta give respect. And the way you carry yourself and the way you look at certain people, man, I've seen it. I've been around you. Don't like it. I know how he may approach me as more like piece of gum in his shoe or something, you know? Like, who is this? Let me take this off. You know, like, yeah, this is nasty. I think it's like more discussed. Like, I shouldn't even be mentioned. I appreciate it. Don't worry. Cool with me. Fuck you too. The ones that he's fought, y'all some. I blame these other fighters for being. And why I say that is because y'all respect this man so much. Like, he's a god. This guy ain't no Floyd Mayweather. This guy ain't no unstoppable dude. These guys ain't me, and they don't think like me. I'm young, I'm hungry. I got balls, big balls. It's a fight game. So it's like, Teofimo gotta be the one to do it. By all means, I'll be the one to do it then.
Okay, so let's watch some more Loma. Lopez. What's he's written here? I can't wait to knock this motherfucker out. Outstanding. I hope that happens. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Let's watch this.
Homeboy's gonna be expecting big shots. Next thing you know, he's gonna see a whole different.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wait, we didn't train for this. And he's gonna try to do all this. Do all that.
He's gonna try to do more than that.
I can't wait to knock this out. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of sacrifices, man. 15 fights in, already a world champion. Fighting for all the belts to become undisputed world champion on my 16th fight. Damn, that's sweet. Ooh. And that's how you do it. Yeah.
We coming.
Oh, we coming.
We coming.
Homeboy's gonna.
I'll tell you what though. Once you get all the money, once you beat this motherfucker, if you can, you know what? Listen, I'm pro Lopez right now. If you're that confident, you're not being all nice and goody. If you're going in there with venom and anger, you know what I mean? If you're going in like a warrior, and let's keep it real, Lomachenko's an arrogant prick. You know what I mean? He's gonna go in there thinking he can style on dude. He's gonna try and embarrass him, pull his pants down or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Go in there, try to knock the motherfucker out. Fuck it. Put it on him. Salido did it. If Salido can do it, let's keep it real. If Salido could really work Lomachenko over, what makes us think that a person who has a bit of skill and power and strength can't? You know, we keep on making it seem as if it's impossible. You know, I like Lomachenko's fighting, but I don't like his fans. I don't like the people he attracts. And I don't like how they feel that they have the right to be fanboys, emotional fanboys, and then point the finger. I mean, there's something really wrong with that. And that's why I'm going to say some more about this. But let's leave this here for a moment. Oh dear. I'll tell you one thing, though. One thing that has happened with this Devin Haney versus Yuriorkis Gamboa fight is they've turned a non-fight, a relatively easy fight, into a high-stakes fight. A high-stakes in terms of perception. Alright? And I'm not sure whether that's a good or a bad thing. I'm not sure. The risk is low, but the reward isn't potentially high either. High risk, high reward and stuff like that. The risk is low, but the reward, there is reward. There is going to be some reward, but it's just not necessarily gonna do as much as it should. However, the price of failure is extraordinarily high. The price to be paid if he doesn't look good, and I'm not saying it loses, but if he doesn't look good. So yeah, maybe you could call it high risk. You can also call it high risk. You could call it high risk because the risk actually encompasses not just losing. I mean, the risk of losing is relatively low, but the risk of not looking great in terms of perception is extraordinarily high and could have a detrimental effect on the prospects of Devin Haney, because that's going to it's really going to hound him. Oh, he didn't look great against the old ass Yuriorkis Gamboa. And I'm guessing a lot of people are praying for that right now. Because I want to say something I've realized. I think that people need to rethink the strategy of trying to promote fighters on YouTube. Because the side effect of that, the ramification, unintended consequence of that is that the people that you go to already have an opposition on YouTube, and maybe out of malice, maybe out of from an ideological position, they're going to disagree with the people that you go to. So there becomes a sort of ghettoization of your supporters. That's what happened with Deontay Wilder. We saw what happened, and if you get that, you're gonna have people who don't like the channels that you go to anyway to promote this thing, who are gonna automatically start hating on that fighter, even if they wanted to like him. It's a bit like what you got with Lomachenko right now. If you like Lomachenko, because of the kind of people that support Lomachenko on YouTube, you're almost inclined to think like, I can't be associated with these kind of fucking disgusting, two-faced, redneck, horrible, racist pieces of shit. You know, I mean, you can't do it. You know, as a human being, you just feel filthy. You can't do it. And black people that do it, or white people, or whatever the fuck who do it, you just want to be like, you know what? You can see that they're setting a different standard in order. They're sort of like bending over backwards to get sort of sexually assaulted by these people. It's fucking disgusting. So, I say the same thing applies to when you have, to what's happened to Devin Haney here. I think Devin Haney and Bill Haney, the strategy they've adopted, they've adhered to, I think it's not going to help. I think they need to sort of revise that. They think that they need to revise that because a lot of shit, you see, the truth of the matter is social media is an open forum, and if you go into these kind of channels the same way people like to troll, people like to attack, you're going to get an opposition. Just as you get supporters, you're going to get an equal amount of opposition. While if you just stayed kind of floated above that, in that so-called old media, if you like, you know what I'm saying? They're professionals, and they can probably do it in a way that even if there is some opposition and people don't like it, you know what I'm saying, you can still spread out. You can still appeal more to these people who have this, because you're doing it for the black man and all this kind of stuff. Once you start doing that, you're already sending out a message that certain people can't fuck with you. And then even some black people don't even want to fuck with you because they understand the people that do that, they're just not the type of people they want to be around anyway. So that's the danger. And see, Bill Haney himself sort of embraced that. trying to be like, yeah, we arranged it on the streets and talking that ghetto shit. That can only get you so far. And if you like that audience that followed Deontay Wilder, that didn't necessarily help him, really, to keep it real with you. It took him ages before he had to fight for a white guy to get that money. You know what I'm saying? He more or less, you could owe all that success, the biggest success he had, to Bob Arum, the guy they hate the most. And Bob Arum's the one who's probably even fixing to get this rematch off the ground. I don't hear much from PBC and all of them. You know what I mean? What they tried to do was get Deontay Wilder easy money through Showtime, and that failed because the audience that he has on YouTube do not necessarily provide the funds that could make it worthwhile to keep Deontay Wilder at Showtime at that extortionate price of $20 million to fight Luis Ortiz. However, his band of merry followers on YouTube would tell you that, yeah, that's a great fight and blah, blah, blah. They were losing money, and they kept on losing money. And I think that's what's going to happen if they don't watch out with Devin Haney. If they keep on letting Bill Haney try to sort of galvanize this crappy, I don't know how to actually describe them, but this scrappy underground movement that doesn't really do much for them on the street and stuff like that. Ultimately, you know, it's a long process. You can take it from the street like rap music, take it from the street and ultimately go mainstream and get commercial. You understand me? That could happen. But this is the age of social media. The age of social media. Nothing, you don't even need though, you know. If you're going to get commercial, you're going to get commercial. And people are going to know what you were into on the underground. And they're going to use it against you. And I think we've already seen a sort of opinion being formed against Devin Haney with what he said about no white boy can beat me and all this other stuff that Devin Haney has been on. And that's just that's where I'm coming from as far as that's concerned. But it is what it is. I think these guys that go running over to YouTube, I think YouTube is important to have those kind of interviews to keep it interesting, but don't focus and think like you can build something from there, because just as you're building, you're destroying as well. You're destroying as well, because a lot of those guys also have people that don't like them. They have a lot of people that don't like them, and you can't say it's unjust. It's unjustified. There's a number of reasons why they don't like their characters or their personalities. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So ESPN ringside right. There's a reason Ryan Garcia's lead left hand is his go-to weapon. My problem is he never keeps that chin tucked. So I suppose the speed counts for something, but with perfect timing, I just think the chin just looks so appealing, so out there, so enticing for somebody who watches this guy. It's almost as if like it's just inviting almost. I mean, it looks great if you concentrate strictly on his hand, and that obviously that's more or less a drill. But the little things, the little subtle things that he should be aware of, even while he's drilling these punches, seems to be absent, and that's tucking his chin. That lovely big ass chin is always out. Okay, fair enough.